I'll check it out with you, Jack. Isn't he gorgeous?
He really is.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. A little one. Hello, little one. Hi, gorgeous.
Look at my outfit.
Oh, what is... I can do that too. Good night. What's that? You've got a bike.
Say good night. Night night. Night night. Night night, Will. Good night, Will. Yep. Off we go to bed. Nighty night. Nighty night. I know. Let's go, Julie. Oh, well. Come on. Here we go, Jethro. Good night. Come on, Will. Good night. Well, Jethro. Jethro, lie down. Lie down, Baba. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Good boy. Here you go. Put your blanket on. Good boy. Night night. Night night. Night night. Hello. Good night. Again? Last time. Come on. Good night, Jethro. Good night. Lie down again. Lie down.
Sam and Cole. This is 2024, and this is our start of the year catch up. I think we should do this all the years of our lives.
Right,
Always
sounds
have a
good.
beginning of year catch up. I'm sorry I didn't see more of you last year, and I loved that the page died suddenly. Put up your little post.
Yeah.
That was so nice. And with having been so busy last year, I thought it's time to do a bit of a deeper dive.
Yes.
So, what was that second half of 2023 like, Sam? Because we caught up with you a little way into 2023 before it
Yeah.
got really rugged.
Yeah. Well, I just think life has continued to get easier, and normality has come back into our life, which is so good. Yeah, being able to go out and just do normal things, the basics, go and have a coffee with friends and take the quickly take the family quick drinks. But just still being able to do that,
Because when we last caught up, baby Will was eating, but not quite
Yeah,
fully.
it was still tough,
But
yeah.
I've seen him today. He's eating really well.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Cole?
Yeah, he's downing everything and he's walking and talking. He's actually talking. He's going hard, eh?
He's giving everything a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might not eat as much as his brother, but he's giving a go.
And he's a strong little fella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong in the... What is... describe everybody who loves Baby Will, what he's like now.
Oh.
He has got a strong personality.
He's gentle, but
Yeah.
he's very strong and very determined.
Yeah.
He's got a poker face.
Yeah.
So he will never let on what's really going on until he's, for after a few minutes he might, but
Yeah.
he can stare you down, no worries.
He really can. He did that when I first got here, like, okay, I'm not sure this time. You got to earn your way in, Liz.
That's right.
But when he wants something, like he wanted to go outside,
Yeah.
he can be really determined.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes,
What
yes,
does he do?
yes.
He'll throw
Oh, well,
himself on the ground sometimes.
Yeah, he started doing this. Oh, no, he's been having tantrums for a little while
Yeah.
now. But he drops his bottom lip, which is super cute, but it's like, oh, please don't do that. And then he'll put his head down on the ground and just do the common, tantrum thing.
I actually love seeing it because it shows he's just a normal little coming into toddlerhood,
Yes.
plenty of drive,
Yes.
wasn't broken by all of that.
Nah.
Yes.
None of us are quite ready to really go into what happened. For all of us, there's still trauma in that memory. But Sam, you told me one little thing just now that really shook me up. Could you tell me, when they kidnapped baby Will, the police came in and they kidnapped with the approval of the hospital and Jacinda Ardern, who's having all this fuss made about her marriage. When you finally were reunited with him, you'd never shared that memory. What was he like?
Yeah, well, it was pretty breaking actually. His eyes were so red because he'd been sobbing so much, and he was, when a child cries like he was doing that, and that
He
that was,
never did that.
never did that. I never allow my children to cry like that.
I spent lots of time with you. He never cried.
No.
Because he was on you all the time,
Yeah.
let alone cried to that point of not being able to breathe. And did they let you pick him up, hold him, comfort him?
No. So that was one of the requirements, that was in the contract when I was to come back with him, that I wasn't allowed to pick him up.
So to remind everybody, the kidnapping happened and they said, tomorrow we're going to operate on this baby. The main thing the American doctors had said to Sam and Cole when we'd contacted them, specialist heart doctors, was this baby is not at the serious end of a heart operation. He can wait a few more months through Christmas. This was December of 22. And furthermore, they said the main thing is the mother and baby must both be really calm before the operation. Do you remember them saying that in that interview?
Yeah.
And so they then kidnapped and persecuted you. I don't want to go into this too much, but you had to sign 20 conditions at least, wasn't it?
Yeah,
by Starship Hospital,
I
which
can't
is
remember
meant to
exactly,
look after you.
Exactly. I can't remember how many it was, but there were specifics there. One of them, no filming, no.
You weren't allowed to fall asleep for even...
Oh, not allowed to fall asleep.
Not even for a second,
no,
were you?
No. If I fell asleep, then I would be removed.
There were police guarding you, which was ludicrous.
Yeah. Oh, Cole wasn't allowed to be with me.
And you weren't allowed to go into the operation with baby Will.
No.
And as I remember, you were on the other side of the room from baby Will, and he was in that cot, and you were never allowed to pick him up.
No. I was allowed to touch him, but I wasn't allowed to pick him up.
I don't want to go over this until we're really ready to examine it in future years, but I do think it's important, given all this fuss about the fluffy wedding, of all the fluffy wedding stories about Jacinda Ardern, as if she's been a normal leader. That is a really abnormal prime minister, leader of a country that allows that level of brutality. There are many things, having interviewed people, that I can't forgive her for, but that loving you, seeing baby Will, knowing the inner story, I don't know how I'll ever forgive her for what she allowed under that. So it's relevant to the update because, Sam, when did you start to feel the post-traumatic stress was starting to wear off of that experience? That put you in major PTSD. I saw it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we've slowly been working through stuff, hey? And slowly just sort of... Just the healing comes with seeing Will get better and with seeing our family come back together, and that's where all the healing is as well, I think.
What's the lesson of it all for Kiwis who are thinking, it's all kind of back to normal? We're not back to normal in this country.
No.
They are willing to bully and hurt and intimidate individuals.
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Yeah.
My shoulder was that. The Tokalauans were that story.
Yeah.
So many people who've stood up in the common law and had their guns taken off them. It's all individuals being bullied by the police.
Yeah.
What do you think the lesson is?
Well, there's no back to normal. We're just a further along in the abnormality. We're further along to whatever their end game is. And we don't quite know what their end game is, but we've seen how they play, so can't be that good, right?
Do we think the new government is hopeful?
Well, I don't think any government that just carries on and in the way that governments carry on, the people don't have any confidence. They never could. Because, how can you have confidence in a government that is wholly with the stick rather than with the candy,
It's linked into the World Economic Forum, and a lot of people are talking about get away from the World Economic Forum, the UN, and the WHO.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this government is only an extension of the last one, and we don't know if it's going to be worse, but I reckon it would be. I reckon as soon as they announce something, the weak people that think that they rule this country will go along with it, and the strong people will be done with what's been done with them before, which is like silence them, censor them, put them in jail, assault them, all kinds of, take their kids away, kidnap their kids, or any number of atrocities, is what you would think it would be, wouldn't you? That's what I class those things as, because I mean, at one stage we had a Bill of Human Rights. Now we, according to JA, we don't have those anymore. Just under Ardern, we don't adhere to the Nuremberg codes. And I mean, the Nuremberg codes were invented so that this sort of wouldn't carry on. But we'll just dismiss those because they don't fit into our persecution regime.
So what do you think the answer is, Cole? And then you, Sam.
Well, the
answer
is that, my ideas of what the answer is not going to happen, because all MPs that are there now need to resign and actually hold a snap election with no rigging, which we know happens wholesale in this last election, I would say, because nobody that I've ever talked to wanted the change that's come. They wanted a change, but not from one tyrant to another.
That's very bravely said. Sam, what's your feeling?
Well, I don't know. I can't say that, but I would say that maybe, just people have to continue to stand for what's in their heart, because all of that it just seems so overwhelming sometimes. But I think and especially if you know what possibly could, be happening, 2030 agenda and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But just standing true to what's in your heart and all sticking together, and instead of the pulling apart, we all have to stick together. And all
They
unity.
love to see division.
Yeah, that's
love
right. That's right.
And that's why there are false people planted in the freedom movement. There are false people everywhere.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly interesting time to be alive, because it could go the other way. It could be the birth, I always hold to this, of a new country, couldn't it?
Wow,
Right.
wouldn't that be incredible?
Yeah.
What would you love for your boys, your twins and little Jack? What would you love, Sam?
Well, I
What
mean,
world would you love?
well, a world where they can just stand up for what's true in their hearts and not be criticised and ridiculed, or be concerned about any backlash, but just be normal Kiwi kids and just stand up for what's in their heart, which is what we want all of our kids to do, really, to have good morals and stick up for people who need to be stuck up for, and
We've got the rooster in the background crowing, saying, yes, Sam. I love this little farm. Cole, what would you wish for the boys?
I would like them to have, the country life. That's why we live here. So they've, starting off the country life. But it's got to be, it really has to be a reverse gear from where the world's trajectory is headed. It has to be put into reverse and flawed, because it's we're heading into a time where 5G, your Wi-Fi, it's all making people not well, and the injections not making people well. The medicine, all the doctors at the moment not making people well. We need to go back to that time. I mean, it's not going to happen though, but we need to go back to the time when a natural doctor is a fully recognised doctor. We just need to go back to a lot more peaceful and gentle lifestyle where a lot of people get on rather than a lot of people don't get on.
And that involves free choice.
Oh yeah,
If
100%.
people want jabs and pharmaceuticals, okay, they can do it.
Of
It's
course.
not good for the health. But for those of us who want much more natural remedies and much more honouring of the, for example, in your case, parental choice.
Yeah.
There's somebody you've been talking to, we won't say what country he's in, but there's someone who's been investigating blood quite a lot, isn't there, Sam? What sorts of things is he telling you?
It's mind-blowing, the things that are being uncovered and, almost exposed. So,
To do
the
with
brink
even
of-
hepatitis B, isn't there?
yeah.
And
Tainted blood, basically.
tainted blood.
Yeah.
So the blood bank issue is still a massive issue, and
Yeah.
It
we've
is.
never resolved that.
Yeah.
Do we have any evidence? Was there any evidence you ever gathered about whether baby Will got tainted blood? In other words, blood that came from people who'd had the jab, or whether he got blood that was free of the spike protein. Were you ever able to resolve that?
We think we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the evidence?
From what we sort of
You don't
have
have to say if you
uncovered,
don't. Yeah.
what we've uncovered is that we don't think he did get blood with spike protein in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So blood from a vaccinated person.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Which shows that even though they pretended that it was coming from the blood bank, they knew enough that they could not risk having an operation
Yeah.
in which he could have had an added complication.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there were things that you saw when you were in hospital,
Oh yeah,
Cole, weren't
yeah,
there?
all those terrible things. But just back to that last question you asked, you know, we sent a saliva test from Will away to a specialist, and that came back negative for spike protein. And I mean, the government will always tell us, and the blood bank will always tell us, that the blood that baby Will got was from them, and it was nothing wrong with it at all. And you know, the truth is, the blood did come through the blood bank, but where the blood came from before the blood bank received it is actually the question that everyone needs to be asking, because the thing is, the blood bank will tell you it just came from their supply, but the people that donated the blood, that we've not talked to them, but we've talked to the people that know them, well, they will tell us that no, the blood came from pediatric donors who hadn't received the injection.
And they were sought out just prior to the
the
operation.
day before.
The
Yeah,
day before.
yeah. So the day before, an urgent request was issued from the blood bank to these particular people that hadn't had the injection. We need this blood of this blood type for an urgent operation tomorrow. Donate now, and however it'll be collected or whatever. And it was Will's blood type. So, and I mean, how much more evidence do you need? And then with the confirmation of the saliva test that there's no spike protein, well, we remember in court, we were all there, they said that there is spike protein in the blood, but it's not an issue. So if there was spike protein in the blood from the blood bank that they confirmed, then where did that blood come from that Will got?
Very well said. Aren't they cynical? They're so misleading. It's just incredible. But a lot of people have asked. Overall, we did help little baby Will.
Oh, yeah.
But there are many other children, many
Yep.
other people.
Exactly.
There's a baby over in a young, not a baby, but a young woman over in Australia, Dazzle, a young girl who really needs, I think it's a lung transplant. And she just does not want to take the jab. And they're saying they won't give the transplant unless she
word.
takes the jab. To me, it seems, and we've talked about this earlier, Cole, it's like the Five Eyes countries
Yep, that's
that
right.
are being the hardest hit. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK and America.
Well, they're all complicit and got no backbone to stand up and stand for themselves and say, you know, we want a free country, we want freedom, we want all these cool things. But no, they'll all just stick together and see their populations dwindle through mismanagement and bad decisions.
And compliance.
Yeah, that's right. Comply with an unelected bureaucrat in Europe, but yet sacrifice their own countries because they just won't stand on their own 2 feet and you know, say I'm a New Zealander or I'm an Australian or I'm an Englishman. No, they'll just go along, or a Canadian or American, but I'll just go along with some fellow because you know, I'm scared that I might be censored or something like that.
So there are lots of people who support both of you, for your courage. You were
Oh, yeah.
incredibly courageous.
Yeah.
You got a great result to that died suddenly post,
Oh,
didn't you?
yeah, that
What
was
did that
lovely.
mean? What did that mean
Oh,
to
it
you?
was
Lots of
really, really
support.
lovely, yeah.
So maybe we end there, Sam. What's your message to all those who support and say, we admire you,
Yeah.
we support your stand, we're glad you did it? What's your message to them?
Oh, look, continue to be strong, continue not to waver in your convictions and
that's
your
right.
the things that are, in your heart, whether that be not having jabbed blood. Because I hear so many people say, yeah, this is my scenario, I don't want it, but I have to. Continue not to waver, don't, and I know how hard it is. I know, I understand, I get it. We were there, and but we just, if we all stand up, and if one person, next person, it's
That's
a domino
it.
effect, if we stand up together and we say no, then we've got a better chance of fighting this than saying no, oh, okay, but they've said no, so we have to. It's
No
like,
way.
no, we have to all stay strong together.
That's an incredible reply.
Yeah.
It's incredible that no, a two-letter word,
Yes.
no, and
Yes.
no en masse. We are many,
Yes.
Yeah.
and they are few. Look at the farmers in Germany.
Yes, yes,
People in
Great.
Poland.
that's right.
People in Romania.
Yes.
And they are millions.
Yes.
They can't beat that.
That's
We're
right.
for only a few.
2024, no.
Yes.
That's right. Sounds good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And
Sam.
and why not? It's my bodily autonomy. It's my decision for
Yeah.
my body. No.
Yep.
No, we all have that right. That's a God-given right that we have over our own body.
Or let's take it to the climate scam. Do I believe that carbon is bad? No, carbon is great. The plants love carbon.
Well, we're carbon
So
too.
we're carbon.
Yeah.
So I don't like your agenda for saving the planet. I want to look after the planet, not the WEF way. No,
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm not buying into it. It's
That's
a no.
right. Yeah, it's no.
Well, that
What
is
about you,
pure
Cole?
insanity, the climate hoax. It's pure insanity to say that this is happening because that's happening, because even a child at school not that long ago would know that these things don't happen that they're saying happen. So, if they want to put themselves into positions of less than children's education, then they are, because that's the thing they're trying to mass make people believe, which is that there's actually something wrong. And I mean, with weather manipulation that's been shown, that's been happening since before World War One, they can mess with the weather and but we all know that when there's something wrong with the weather, and it's not how it's supposed to be, and it's not how we know that it actually is. And I mean, I can tell you right now, my cows aren't affecting the world in a negative way. You bite into a steak and you'll see that the cow is actually affecting the world in a good way.
That's a very good point. And my thing is, the most simple science is plants love carbon.
Yep.
The more carbon there is,
Yep.
the more plants grow. The more plants grow,
Yep.
the more oxygen they put in
yeah.
the world,
Well,
the
that's,
better the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'll tell
It's
you,
basic science.
right now, I run my car for an extra couple of minutes every day just so that I can undo what they're doing. And I mean, you look at Biden's insanity in trying to sequester whatever it is. He's trying to draw something out of the atmosphere and store it underground, the CO2, that's it. And it's dangerous. I mean, that's affecting the entire planet. His insanity is affecting the entire planet in a negative way. We need more CO2 in the atmosphere, not less. It's proven from a long time ago that a lot of CO2 causes the planet to grow really well, causes crop production, not reduction. It lowers heat. It does a whole load of cool things, but that maniac is having them giant plants built in the States of massive billions of worth of dollars to take out what the planet needs, to keep, food growing, to keep people healthy, to keep a whole load of things happening. And I mean, I'm sure our government's part of it. You know?
See, there'll be so many people who relate to that. What all of that is, and we could go into other issues as well, but the key is you guys have self-educated, Sam, haven't you? You've read a lot. You've worked out with your good brains. Well, that makes sense, but that doesn't make sense. That's
Yeah.
what we all have to do.
Yeah.
It's back to saying no, and I'm responsible for the kind of world I want.
Yeah.
I don't want their world.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
want
right.
a WEF world.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Final message, Jacinda Ardern marrying
I hadn't
and all the
caught up
fuss
with
about it. I know, but here's a woman who had a small child at the time she did this to you, as mothers of small children, and I do wonder, Cole, if she walked in the room now, what you'd say to her for what she put you through, because she was Prime Minister at the time, she was responsible for that utter cruelty. Can you think of something you'd say
Well,
to her?
I'd just say I feel so sorry for you that you're such a weak person and you didn't put New Zealand first, you put yourself first. You put your future ahead of everyone else's, and I mean, I'm sure that when you get elected to government, you're supposed to work for the people, not have the people work for you to, cause you to become wealthy and rich and have many properties and now overseas jobs and wealth and status and a fake knighthood, because we all know that whoever that person is that pretends to be the king too, he's fake as well, He's probably eating children and drinking their blood, and for him to knight someone or whatever he did for them, it's a sham. It's like a Nazi situation where Adolf decorated people for committing atrocities, but in Germany they're heroes. But in our regime, those people are heroes. But really, the majority of the people, they see that that's just all fake.
They
They're not
despise them.
heroes.
Someone
Yeah.
said to me coming here, so we've got Sir Edmund Hillary, he's a Sir, and then we've got Sir Trevor Mallard.
I know, isn't that
my-
ridiculous?
The
You
man
know?
who wet all the tents that the young children and the
Yeah.
grandmothers were in at the village in Wellington.
Yeah.
They were saying, please, our lives are ruined. And
Yeah.
that man put the hoses on them
Yeah.
all night.
Tormented
That's right.
And
them
he
with
has
the music.
tormented them
Yeah.
with the music, and he's knighted
Yeah.
by this government agreeing to it. How could Winston Peters agree to that? How
Well-
could any of them agree to that monster being knighted?
We know that they're all sellouts. And I mean, it's like I said before, a snap election would be the best and fairest thing to happen. Hey, and if any of them have got any backbone and they're listening, go propose it and see what happens to you.
What I love with Cole, we don't have to agree with everything he says, because that's democracy and that's freedom.
Yeah.
But I love his courage, Sam.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He doesn't hold back. Imagine that society again.
Yeah.
Well,
You're-
it's
yeah.
truth. The only thing we want to be out speaking is truth. And so it's like Sam and I were reading the Bible this morning, and there was a little scripture, it's my kind of favourite one, and it just says, mind your own business, be at peace, just stay under the radar, use your hands to work, and, don't be out there trying to create ripples, and that's all we want, is everyone just be at peace, everyone just be using their hands to work and, minding their own business, and, if you want to do that over your house, sweet ass, but we want to just be peaceful people here, and, that's what we want, right?
That's true. If we want the government to leave us alone
Yeah.
and live our lives the way we
Yeah.
want. Your message, Sam, to finish. If Jacinda walked in right now in her wedding finery and her women's
goodness.
weekly articles
Oh,
and all the
gosh.
fluff and nonsense, and this woman who did this to another woman with a baby that was really unwell, trying to feed her twin, allowed all those police. She had to have sanctioned that. All those police. She had to have been in touch with Starship, who are so deserving of a full inquiry into what they did, and it will come one day. They will answer one day. But what would you say to that Prime Minister? It all roots back.
I probably, Cole knows because he knows me very well. I probably won't
say what you
say.
think. The gun with you. Censored.
Yeah.
Well, remember what else Jacinda did? She, put that little bit of policy in place that a pregnant New Zealand woman couldn't come home to have her baby in New Zealand while the COVID scam was going on. So we've seen her track record with ladies with babies. She has no regard for, you know, a young life apart from her own child. And so we just feel sorry for Neve. Because, I mean, she's got that monster for a mum and it is not going away.
I think she'll walk down the aisle, come out of the church, whatever the phony, showy thing is, and what will be waiting for her, Cole, will be a giant karma bus.
Hopefully.
And that will be what she's carried on. Her own actions will come back and meet her.
Oh, that always does.
Yeah. And meantime, you two brave souls. People love you for your courage. People love you for your care. And our boy Will is really thriving.
Yeah,
That's
he's
the
doing
message,
yeah.
isn't it?
It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
awesome.
doing so well.
Running around laughing, it's just, you know, it's the greatest thing to see after, you know, spending those nights with him after that operation that he didn't completely need to have, you know, because that's the other thing, eh, Sam? You know, we had to spend 24-hour-a-day care with him, even though, you know, there was people that were put in place to provide that care, but they still wanted to fill him up with these poisonous chemicals, and we had to be standing by 24 hours a day to monitor everything they were trying to do to him, and we stopped them putting more poison in him just by, you know, being on the ball and asking them what they were doing, because it was a few times that they wanted to put, you know, contaminated platelets, and plasma into him that he didn't need.
And then we said no, and they said, oh, we'll just use saline. It's like,
Yeah, so it's like,
why didn't you use saline in the first place?
Yeah,
you know, if it's
that's
exactly the same outcome. Yeah.
I remember that, and you were doing the all-night shifts. You
Yep.
were doing the all-day shifts.
Yep.
We were babysitting little Jack.
yeah.
But, man, that was what character you two have. What character. Amazing what you came through.
Well, you know, Liz, me and Sam and I, we're no different than anyone else, except that we just had a little bit of backbone to stand up, but we're no different than anyone else, and that should be the call out to everyone that is possibly watching. We're no different than you. All you need to do is just say no, and say no as far as it goes, and if we all say no, then we stop it from going any further.
I don't think we can end on a better note. Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Sam.
Thank
It's so
you.
good to see you again. So good.
Yeah.